ladies and gentlemen, Professor Boudjouris, Dr. Okliptis, Ms. Kalspera, fellow speakers, dear delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I have to thank all of you for the honor to participate here in this event tonight, which, due to a prolonged commitment of allaboutshipping.co.uk, the free shipping market website platform, and its expansion to the Far East, it made it impossible to be present physically tonight, but goodwill and technology make it possible to hear and make you hear some home truths needed to cover this unique theme of our debate tonight. Shipping is the spearhead of Greece's success to all intents and purposes, a field where Hellenism only marvels despite the internal and external unethical behavior. The figure you have to remember for Greek shipping success is a very simple one: 22% plus of the world's fleet. The importance of Greek shipping dynasties, and particularly the succession and success issue, rests entirely with the family cohesion, motherhood mentoring, family governance, in other words, by women. You might be surprised to hear this, but this is the truth. And this is what they don't teach you in Harvard Business School. One has also to investigate the parameters and the scene of the 12th century, and particularly until the beginning of the 17th century, where the Greek world, both in the then hinterland as well as in the archipelago of the Aegean and Ionian Seas, Mediterranean, Black Sea, and at a point in time at the Newfoundlands, which Christopher Columbus really established, was based on the specialist knowledge of Greek navigators, namely a Captain Andreas, Capitan Andreas, from where the origins of the Andreades family in Rhodados Chios and others rests, who let Columbus find the new world, as legend has it, in reality as truth have it. Seamanship, ladies and gentlemen. Seamanship is an art like any other, but it is not something to which one can be picked up in one's spare time. Indeed, it leaves no leisure for anything else. This is from the History of the Peloponnesian War, Book 1, paragraph 142. What you do not know, you cannot control. Moreover, according to Thukydides, a collision at sea could ruin your day. Try to interpret this to all intents and purposes, to use a nautical shipbroking term. The female factor, whether that of the mother, wife, sister, or fiancée, from the period of the most serene Republic of Venice, and then at the time of the Genovese and the famous Mahonna, jointly with the locals, obtained important, valuable, and viable knowledge so as to create successful until today dynasties. Greek shipping dynasties derive from antiquity, and the advantages of knowing economic geography led them for nearly 10 millennia today to control the world. Socrates' texts are full on this issue. For example, for the Chians he said, "Whoever they backed, those backed became leaders." The 30 pages of Nikos Isperis' book, The Woman of Chios, is a must-to-have, where you will understand the difference and the supremacy of some Chian families. Another book, In Odysseus' Wake, by the Greek National Tourist Organization, published in 2003, reflects the issue of voyaging, remember, voyaging, between myth and reality, a must to be on everybody's bookcase. The best, though, analysis comes from Andreas Lemos' books, The Chian Shipping in 1963, and A Traveller of the 20th Century relates, in Greek, ένας διαβάτης του 20ου αιώνα φυγείται. These are the masterpieces of all the books epitomizing the development of the Greek shipping dynasties. On pages 113 to 114, he says about his mother Kyriakoula, the old lady, the Gerontissa in Greek, who was directing the family ship and family itself when the father, her husband, was at sea. She was overlooking the businesses without being afraid of adversities, and she gave herself to eternity, feeling content that she performed her personal duties and also those of the family, society, Christianity, all these humane ones. Conscience is an important factor, as well as that of dignity and self-respect. I'm proud, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm a Chian, as the island owns today and controls more or less 7% of the world ocean-going fleet. This is not by chance, and many companies from the island are listed in the stock markets. Great Britain lives under the maxim, Britannia rules the waves. Equally, we have Chios Navkratousa, Chios rules the waves. Education, mentoring, family values, ethical behavior, and self-respect. These are the main ingredients for the continued success of Chian shipping dynasties as well as that of others. A dynasty, by the way, doesn't mean that you have to be big to be beautiful. The education of the Hellenes is still the best on the field to this moment. But do take on account what was happening between the 12th and 18th centuries, and you will understand why at that time they were the best. Even under the Venetians, Genovese, and the Ottoman rule, particularly under the Ottoman yoke, the Hellenes were the most educated and the most patent of all, and developed themselves as leaders, establishing the most important trade and then transport companies the world has ever seen. Remind you the passage. Many wonders there are, and yet none is more wonderful than man. He journeys over grey ocean with stormy notos, crossing through waves and surge about him. Earth, the immortal, the greatest of the gods, the tireless one. He wears away, turning the soil with his horses as he plows, passes up and down year after year. Sophocles is Antigone. The supremacy of the Greeks from antiquity, as we have said at the beginning of my speech, was epitomized by the northeast expansion of the Mycenaean world and, as the legend says, of the Homeric age between 1400 BC to 635 BC. Gods, demigods, heroes, and seafarers. Note this last word, seafarers. That's Mariana Koromilas's masterpiece, The Greeks in the Black Sea, from the Bronze Age to the early 20th century. It all stems from the sea. I will end this passage on the development of Greek shipping dynasties and their success until this very moment. And as you will hear this from others possibly, for the Greeks, however, the hinterland of Western Asia was still a forbidding, impenetrable territory. Their own contribution to civilization was the sea. They excelled in seafaring skills, in shipbuilding, in the ability to steer a ship in all weathers. In this, they were unparalleled. They could read the stars and other nautical signs. They seemed able to converse with the waves, and they had personified the elements of the sea. They were interpret, quick to learn, insatiable, curious. For them the sea meant brilliant light, clear waters, sheltering bays, safe harbors, innumerable islands, and short distances. There was nothing frightening about the Aegean. It was a stimulus to travel, trade, and enterprise. And since the land of the Greeks was largely arid and barren, and its inaccessible mountains fit only as dwelling places of the gods, they turned to the sea. That was the particular genius, where the particular genius flourished. That was there they gave free rein to their love of adventure, where young sailors came of age, where the virtues of entire nations was put to the test. The Argonauts' expedition included the best Iolcos in search of the Golden Fleece. It was education and also the ancestors' legend. Without wearing any bota, the men, nor any moreta, the women, like the rival Venetians and their respective masks, the Greeks, and in particular the Chians, to whom I mainly refer herein, marveled in all respects and aspects of the shipping industry, obtaining, after considerable thought and generations of analysis, the best needed for proper tackling the seafaring profession. The most difficult one being, and of course remaining and retaining to be, that of a successful shipowner. Shipwrecks and archaeological findings from antiquity to date have brought into light unique instruments that no other shipping nation has ever developed and deployed. The Kythera Astrolabus speaks of itself, not to mention the specialist hulls at all times, showing the supremacy and knowledge of the Greeks. Moreover, you can see in today's world, with the anathema of the standard design ships, how the well-experienced Greek shipping executive, mostly member of a traditional shipping family, a dynasty, who have inherited a vast knowledge of the seafarer ships and not that of the naval architect, the improvements that he or she adds at the end and the end result. Greeks in today's demanding and ultra-competitive maritime world use all possible means for furthering the industry and maintaining the shipping dynasty on top. You can see the composition of Greece's shipping family's offices comprised of specialist maritime accountants, naval architects and marine engineers, finance executives. All they have worked in respective specialist business outside the family before joining back the family office. To conclude, if you don't do it excellent, don't do it at all. What the heroes always feared in a supposed coming failure and said, how do I face my compatriots if I rock the boat? Άμα την κάτσω τη βάρκα, με τι μούρη θα πάω στοιχείο. So, all in all, one has to use the competitive edge of knowledge and obtain the best practices from his competitors in order to be successful and to maintain the dynasty at the top. We'll be pleased to receive your questions at john.faraclas@allaboutshipping.co.uk. May I take the opportunity to wish you continued success in these events and a fantastic end of this debate tonight. Thank you very much.